welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Griffin, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, Uncle Joe McLaughlin, and he's JP's first son, Tim Howie. Oh, we have another great show for you tonight. So, boys, let's get it started. We're starting with the Boston Celtics. When you have opening night, and can you guys even remember other than, I guess, 2008, though if you remember, 2007, we were in last place. 2008 had plenty of hype with the big three, but I can't remember any greater hype for a Celtic season in the last 14 years as it was last night. Celtics win big against the 76ers, and my quick little insight, looks like the Celtics, a great team, and looks like they'll be, can turn it on and off as they shall please.
I don't know. They ran them right off the court.
Are you forgetting the hype that before Mark Hayward Gordon got hurt? Remember?
Yeah, no, that's true. There was hype. Absolutely, there was hype. Yeah. But there was, Timmy, that's a great point. But
we had Kyrie. I was excited for that year.
It was. That was like
getting kicked in the groin when Hayward screwed his ankle up. We were probably the favorites that year to win it. I think starting out the season.
No, that's a great point. There was a lot of hype. But because we went to the finals last year, because we have this young core, because we added a guy like Brogdon, who could possibly put us over the top, Joe, you just felt different last night.
Yeah, man. Obviously, the Jays didn't rest on their laurels in the offseason. They were out working. They were in shape. Philadelphia, Joel Embiid was dead tired in the second half. He couldn't even throw a straight pass. Well, and they just ran him right off the court.
I give credit, Timmy, to Methuen's own Noah Vonleh. That kid,
Vonleh.
I tell you something. What he is, he's a big body. He was beating the shit out of Embiid.
Well, you wonder if they brought him in just for Embiid, because that's what we needed. We just needed a gigantic body to go in and get 5 fouls on and then move along. Embiid is such a physical presence. You need, he just used to shove a German guy around there.
Nice.
You need, Tice gave it his heart, and I love Tice. But he probably outweighed him by 80 pounds,
Vonleh's much bigger. You could tell that Vonleh was getting to him, because all of a sudden Embiid in the second half is
throwing elbows. Yeah, well, Vonleh had a tough start. The first 5 minutes were very rough. Right. He looked away, a fish out of water. But then come the second half, he was giving them valuable time. He was doing a good job. He had a couple of nice offensive possessions, and his defense was good too. That was a great block on Maxey.
So, Timmy, the two Jays, like Joe talked about, look, they're at a point of their career that they should only be getting better. There should be no regression in their game.
Yeah, a lot of people last year referred to what we grew up with was the ascension of teams. We had the Celtics, and then Celtics LA, and then you had
Detroit.
Who was knocking on the door?
Detroit.
Chicago.
And then Chicago was knocking on the door on Detroit. That was the natural progression of things back then. And I think we might be seeing that with this team, and if so, we're in for some fun years the next few years, guys. It might be our time, right?
I think the only thing that stops the Celtics, which stops a lot of teams, is health.
Oh yeah. An injury can sidetrack any team.
Yeah, that McHale injury killed the Celtics when he hurt his foot. God knows they might have won 2 more championships if McHale had been the original McHale. And then we saw it with KG. He wasn't himself at the end there. He got hurt. Injuries. And that comes with age, And we're young right now. So hopefully the injury bug won't be as prevalent with us as it is with older teams.
And your baseball talks about war against replacement. Rob Williams, you feel, wins you 3 to 5 games that currently you may lose.
Yeah. He's a bad matchup against Embiid, though. But you could have used him on the rebounding there. He would have really helped in that game. But I was really impressed with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. They both looked better than they did at any time last year. They both they've improved their games, both of them.
They sure
getting back to the Time Lord for a second. Forget the wins and losses. I miss him being out there from an entertainment standpoint.
Oh, yeah.
He is fun. One entertaining, especially live. I don't know what it is, but live, he's fun to watch. Really when you're there at the game. He's super. Even before he had the game he has now, he was just fun to watch when he get his 4 minutes a game. It was like a spectacle to watch him play.
It feels like the Harlem Globetrotters right now, putting out Will Chamberlain. Yeah, look, guy like Blake Griffin, when they made the move, I was looking at the Blake Griffin guys when we last saw him at the Nets, which was he seemed like about 30, 40 pounds heavier than he is now. Yeah. He could hardly move. But you saw a guy yesterday that clearly got in shape, who wants to continue his basketball career. And he's kind of that PJ Brown type. He's going to get those offensive rebounds. He's going to take a charge. He's going to do those.
Took a charge last night.
He's a Boston Bruin, Timmy. He's going to do those.
All I remember about him in that Nets series is it looked like he did like 10 lines of crystal meth before he came in. Do you remember? Do you remember he was just flying around? And he had about 3 minutes of energy in his body entirely, but man, I never saw anyone work harder for 3 minutes.
Yeah, I think he hit a couple of 3-pointers to start, and you're like, okay, let's have Blake continue to shoot those because I'm sure they'll go well. After a while, he could hardly even hit the front rim. But you can't play this guy more than 10 minutes a game, but very helpful kind of guy, a guy we haven't had around this town since PJ Brown, I think.
Yeah, and I think he knows his role. I think he knows his place in this organization, which is very helpful at this point.
Yeah, great point. Yeah, Joe.
He came in handy too because Big Al got in foul trouble right away. Vonleh came in. He got 2 fouls within like a minute of coming in. So Blake Griffin, earned his pay last night.
I think Blake Griffin, if he stays healthy, will play a small, teeny little role in the playoffs. So where we talked in the exhibition season that you never see Blake in the playoffs. Now you can kind of picture him, coach trying to steal 3 minutes at the end of a half or something.
Yeah, especially when you can have Brogdon taking care of the offense. Usually when you have a guy like Blake Griffin come in, the offense goes downhill because he doesn't have that kind of game anymore. But if you got say a Brogdon and White in the game, the two of them, just have a guard-oriented offense, those two can keep you in the game. And you can steal a nice 5-minute rest for the Jays.
Now, Timmy, to me, I think the headline of the season is going to be not the Jays, because we assume a certain level of production. Yeah. It's going to be White, Brogdon, and Smart. Those 3 combinations, almost some level point guard, small forward.
That's a good question, Scott. Depends on who's out there on the other team too. I don't know if I want to see those 3 on the court at the same time that much. How is Brogdon defensively? What's the rap sheet on him defensively?
Excellent defensively. He's solid all around, right?
Average to above average. He's got size, Tim, so he can handle even the bigger guys.
And he makes his own offense. He's a guy that sometimes we'd see lineups guys
smooth too.
Oh, he's so smooth. And
he looks like he's in control all the time. Yeah. He's got just gliding through, like he knows what's going to happen 2 seconds from now, and he's dealing with it that way.
All right, what's the over/under on till we see the headline in the sports, an injury to Brogdon?
Oh, come on!
We already did. We already had that last week.
Scotty, it's a realistic thing. You know, the guy has a.
He was hurt this year.
What are we talking about? His baseball card, right? I mean, what's his baseball card say with his injuries? You know?
I don't know.
Well, Tim, I think that's going to get ameliorated by the fact that he's not going to be a starter. He's not going to be playing 40 minutes. They want him as a six-man, the guy to keep the offense going when the Jays, sit down, or whenever there's an offensive lag, they'll put him in as a playmaker. But he's not going to be playing 40 minutes a game like he did in Milwaukee.
I really hope so. I don't want to be the Debbie Downer here, but I just feel like he's fragile. And it's only a matter of time till he's out 3 or 4 weeks.
I think he's happy, too.
I don't want to be negative, but...
You could be right.
Well, I think he's happy, getting the same salary and only playing 20 minutes a game instead of having to put in 40.
Yeah, no, you're right. Coach Maz, part of his job, and let's be honest, the person who had the worst night last night, unquestionably, is Ime Udoka. Because life goes on without you. And people have moved on. You see the Russ cheered the locker room celebration.
Oh, that was good, huh? With the Gatorade.
Gatorade and Coach Maz. He moved on. He's a nice young kid. He seems to know what he's doing. Players react to him. Goodbye, Udoka. And that's it for him.
Well, I see something came out that Ainge tried to get him, and the Celtics refused the discussion. Did you see that today?
I didn't see that. That doesn't surprise me. I told you a few weeks ago. I don't think
Ainge had him interview, right?
Yeah.
He interviewed with Ainge, and Ainge hired the other guy.
I think the Celtics blocked something to do with him.
But they hired the other guy, Joe. They hired
the other guy. Yeah, he interviewed Tim.
I thought I saw, glancing through. My information is not reliable at all.
What is that site you use?
Timmy's on the site, the unreliable source.
Ballsack.com.
Ballsack.com.
That's it.
The unreliable source.
I'm always. Here's what happens, guys. I'm always on the move. There is until I put my head on the pillow at night, I'm on the move. So sometimes you get those alerts on your phone, and all of a sudden I get an alert, and I don't know if it's from Wojo or ESPN. I just see these alerts on my phone. I have to. I don't know how I ever got ballsack.com notification.
you clicked accept at the wrong time.
I was on the tee box when that came across, and everyone's yelling at me to tee off, and I look down. It says what's his name was cut, and I'm like, oh my God,
Raymond Green. You said,
with this, and
it never stops you from texting us that, and then us spreading the word.
I know. Well, I was looking for the notification so I could just put it out like you guys do, the responsible report. But instead, I put it in my words. You know what I mean? Well, just continuing my humiliation.
No, we
don't. No, your heart was in the right place. You were trying to inform us.
Of course, but wouldn't you agree it was a bad?
I thought I had breaking news.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you agree it was a bad night for Ime Udoka?
Well, I'm sure he would have. He's human. He would have preferred they lost, and they missed him.
Yeah, right. I never thought. Yeah, it's true. But people do move on real quickly. He's the coach of the Celtics.
Now, where does Ime go from here?
Ime, to me, there's absolutely no question that they suspended him so they could keep control of him, and they're gonna flip him.
Nah, I think he ends. I don't think anyone's gonna touch him.
No, I don't. Oh, Joe.
He might end up being like a player agent or something like that. He's going to stay around the league. Just I don't think he'll be in any official capacity.
Joe, how can you say that when Alcs Cora is the manager of the Red Sox? It's pretty clear that whatever Alcs Cora did was far worse than what Ime Udoka did.
I don't know. We don't know. They haven't even told the players what he did.
All right, I am looking at Boston.com. Wick Rosbeck says he stopped Danny Ainge from hiring Joe Mazzulla. 6 hours ago, that was reported.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Boston.com, that's the Globe, so.
Wow.
With Prospect revealed Tuesday that Ainge wanted Missoula to join former Celtics assistant Will Hardy's staff in Utah, and he
they wanted him to be an assistant.
As an assistant,
not the head coach. Timmy. No.
They were going to let him be the head coach, Tim.
Yeah,
but
they couldn't stop. You can't stop a guy from taking a head coaching job. That's unethical.
No, but a lateral move they can.
Yeah,
they can't stop him. So
Rick Grossbeck is quoted as saying, "I prevented Danny from stealing the sun because I told Danny I'd fly to Utah and personally strangle him if he did."
Yeah, I just think that this is kind of them sending out the message that, like we were talked about. Maybe we're not so sad that Ime had this problem.
No.
Well,
I thought Ime did a good job, but I think he would have continued to do a good job. But obviously that's not going to happen, so we'll have to deal with this.
Absolutely.
You wonder how much was known in the locker room throughout the year last year regarding Ime's dalliances with other people's wives, and you wonder if that had any effect on anything.
Yeah, that's a great point. Look, I've been in Red Sox locker rooms and spent a whole season. All they do is gossip. All they do, you think it's a bunch of 80-year-old hens, at a bridge game. Blah, 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 blah. So to me, I would answer your question. Lots. They talked about it lots, and it could have been a distraction.
Yeah, it's a very close clique and they're kept together, and they're kept from growing apart by the organization. So,
like Joe has said before, they eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner together on the road. And now to keep them from getting arrested and getting in trouble, they rent out these hotel halls and rooms, and they let them party within a confined space with NBA security watching everything. So you never see any problems anymore.
Oh, you can't let guys go out to bars and there's going to be trouble with someone else's girlfriend or wife, or there'll be some guy that wants to make a reputation for himself by going up and slugging, a Celtic.
Well, we'd probably have a scene just like out of the Matlock from the 1980s, where some handsome guy comes in and starts dancing with somebody's wife. You know what I mean?
I know.
That could lead to trouble.
Yeah, you can't have that. So they just, every hotel has got a dozen meeting rooms that can be hired for private, events. And
that was a little inside humor there.
That was Matlock and Diagnosis Murder. That was a two-part them getting together. I don't know if
handsome man. The only thing in the script is handsome man. Handsome man. Right?
No, it was actually Nick Kravitz, if you remember. And there are
is that your name, Nick Kravitz?
Yeah, that was Nick Kravitz. Remember?
You were Nick Kravitz.
She's testifying with
Gladys Kravitz's husband.
And then she points out Nick Kravitz. And I stand up, and Andy Griffith says, "Handsome man." I still get residuals from that.
Oh, I love it. I'm not getting any residuals, Scotty. No residuals coming this way.
Scotty still gets residuals from Ricky Lake's show.
What's the smallest residual?
Oh, 8 cents.
Yeah.
So, and they took taxes out of it, so it's really like 11.
Postage cost more.
So there used to be maybe I've told you this before, and I'm probably told. There used to be a nightclub in LA called Residuals, and your cover charge was you had to sign them over a residual check.
Oh.
That's how you got in.
And you saved those Ricky Lake ones just for that.
You saved them, yeah. I don't know if I ever told you I was dealing with something legal, and I was in the room with this lawyer, and he before the deposition, he's got all these residual checks with him. He's going through them and counting. I said, were you an actor? He goes, no, my dad was. I go, yeah. I go, and then I stopped for a second because I knew his last name. Yeah. I go, holy shit. Your dad was Vic Tayback, wasn't he? Because this guy's name was Chris Tayback. Yeah. He goes, yeah, that's my dad. You don't remember Vic Tayback?
I do.
Well, if you said something, he was in
Mel's Diner.
I probably know his face.
Yeah.
Mel's Diner.
Mel's Diner.
Mel's
Diner. Okay.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And the waitress show spun off it.
Oh yeah, there's lots of that stuff. So the Jaylen Brown learned how to dribble in the offseason. Wasn't that nice of him?
Thank God. I mean, he was exposed for his lack of dribbling skill last playoff.
And I thought Tatum showed some fancy dribbling there on that step back too.
But more in control. They look like a well-coached team last night.
Yeah. Did you think Jaylen right now has more upside than Tatum? Did I lose you? Is my signal bad here?
But no, you said Jaylen Brown has more upside than Tatum.
No, I'm wondering. Because his dribbling was a big downside there for a while. It was a true weakness. There were points in that some playoff games where he was the man.
Oh,
he was the man.
Tatum just is so much more skilled. I'm a Jaylen Brown fan. I like Jaylen better, but I will never say that Jaylen's a better player or will be a better player than Tatum.
Okay,
Tatum could do it all.
Okay. I'll start with Joe. Joe, what does Brown do better than Tatum?
I think he's a better defender on the ball. And that's about it. He has a better floater shot, but then Tatum showed he had one last year he didn't have it.
Timmy, same question. What does Brown do better than Tatum?
What I got out of the playoffs, the difference between Brown and Tatum, when the going really, really got tough, I thought Tatum kind of wilted a little bit, and it seemed like Brown got more intense and brought more of his game. That's just a speculation.
Look, you're absolutely right. What your eyes did not deceive you. But I would probably argue that, again, Jaylen Brown took some weeks off in the season for his injuries. Tatum shows up every night. That may have been more that Tatum was absolutely worn out.
I think in the playoffs, Brown didn't take any time off. And remember, he had the hamstring issue.
No, but he did it during the season, Joe, though.
Yeah. But when push came to shove.
No, he definitely played. I'm just talking about
he was the more determined competitor.
Yeah. I mean, it did turn out Tatum was dealing with a pretty bad injury there, too.
Yes.
But also, there's a lot less pressure on Jaylen Brown. Maybe not this season, but definitely last season than Jason Tatum.
Oh, definitely. Even this season.
I don't know, Joe. I think the expectations are pretty even now that, Jaylen Brown needs to be a superstar for us to
Isn't it amazing? It seems like they just got here. It's his 7th season. It's Tatum's 6th season. They've been around for quite a while together.
I mean, they were both just kids when they got here.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were both 19.
1 year in
If
college.
you have kids that are that age, you realize how young that really is.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
19. Yeah.
Oh my God, just babies. Literally.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm sure even now that we have, Joe's son is older, but even in early 20s, you look at them and like they're infants.
I mean, they still just, the hamper's 6 inches away and they miss it on every shot. You know what I mean? Just simple like putting dishes in the dishwasher. Do we not learn how to do that till we're 28 years old? I mean,
urinating on the window almost. Really? Seriously?
I know. And these guys have so much responsibility put on their backs at that tender age. I don't know how they do it, really. I really don't know how they do it.
I'll tell you, Brogdon is maybe the most mature guy I've ever heard in my whole life speak. And what is he, like 28?
Yeah.
29? I mean, the guy's so impressive.
No, they're coached and mentored, and they have 10 handlers each teaching 24/7,
But I think the guy who's the happiest right now is Al Horford, because he doesn't have to have that whole role of the statesman, the guy that everybody turns to. They brought in a Brogdon and
Blake Griffin,
and these guys are where Tatum and Brown can turn to at times.
Blake Griffin might take some of that responsibility from Al.
I think he
does.
I think he already has.
He's been around.
I love that signing now. was just kind of something I had to see him in person, or to see if he was in shape. And he's in good shape. And the guy he's not obviously the guy that was a superstar, but
well, he can't shoot to save his life anymore.
But you don't need him to.
You don't want him to. He's just there for defense and rebounding. Defense and rebounding. Thank you very much.
Also, remember him in his prime? He could jump out of the building. He was a freak. He was a freak.
Now he can't get off the floor.
Yeah, did he do a dunk contest where he was jumping over cars and stuff?
Oh, he jumped over a Kia. Remember?
Yeah, right. Yeah, and then he got
Kia is still the car of the NBA. But I think that was the first time Kia had been the NBA official car, and he jumped over one.
So people are comparing him to Bill Walton, and as all of us watched Bill Walton in 1986.
Oh, the red hair.
Bill Walton was a hell of a play. He was a hell of a player in '86.
Yeah. He was an all-time great. Great.
And he was really good for the Celtics great passer, rebounder. I will say this only after the first game, Blake Griffin's going to have to hit some key free throws before this season is over.
Well, I think he can shoot free throws. It's just his field goal shooting has suffered as he's aged.
Okay, but that's all I'm going to say. There's going to be something where Blake Griffin decides possibly.
Oh, I'm sure.
At the free throw line.
There'll be someone in foul trouble, and he'll have to be there late in the game when the game's on the line, and be putting in the rebounding action fouled.
Was Blake Griffin acquired from Brad because of one moment at Portis moment in the Bucks at the free throw where they ended up winning the game?
Oh, wasn't that disgraceful? Marcus Smart will never live that down.
But because you know who's going to be lined up next to Portis this time.
Oh yeah.
I was there.
Oh, that
was a bad moment.
That was heartbreaking.
Oh, was that tough to watch?
Yeah. It's those moments that they go into the offseason and they review every second of every game.
Yep.
Like, no, we need a guy who can be on the free throw line. And Blake Griffin's guy. Okay, I'm going to ask you, what do we need? Rob Williams comes back. What are our needs to acquire?
Well, the Gallinari role. I love that role. To me, he was Scott Wedman 2.0.
Yeah.
And I love having Scott Wedman was a weapon. We all know what he did to help those teams. To me, he was Scott Wedman all over again. And I would have loved to have him there. I don't know if we can find another 6'10" 3-point shooter, but
that's a great point. So yes, a big forward, I guess. I'm looking
who can shoot the lights out, Scott.
Yeah, I think it's still it looks like we obviously I'm talking
a big wing.
Like an Allen, like a Wiggins.
Oh, yeah, but he just signed that big contract.
No, I know, like a Wiggins. I mean, not that those guys are out there.
Yeah, well, they got him. He was just floating around. I mean, people had kind of given up on him until he resurrected himself with Golden State.
So a wing, do we need another big man?
Not when Rob comes back. I think Rob, Al, Vonleh, Griffin, you got that kind of covered. Al's the shooter.
Timmy, do we need another big man?
You can never have enough, especially with Embiid on the other side of the table. We're going to have to get through Embiid, most likely, to get to where we want to go.
But also they think of Embiid, but they think of three guys.
And
Embiid, Giannis first, Embiid second, and Butler third. Those are three guys. If you want to get to the finals, you're going to have to deal with in some level.
Now, what do you think of this Vonleh defending Giannis? How do you think he'll do?
I don't think
I don't think he doesn't have the footwork.
Not a chance.
He'll be like Grant Williams, pick up 5 fouls in 5 minutes.
No, but Joe, I was just going to say Grant Williams is on the Celtics because he can take Giannis.
Yeah, but remember last year he was out in 5 minutes each time.
Speaking of Grant Williams,
with the hole in his chest,
are you guys surprised that they didn't come to an agreement?
No, not at all. He wants big money, and they're not going to pay the eighth man on the bench. 15 million a year.
In that one game, that one great game, boy, his ego blew sky high. Prove it to us for a season.
Yeah, he's like a $14 million guy, probably.
Do it for the season. Show us a full season of it. And we'll
all right, Jay, boys, I have to
show that you can shoot with a hand in your face. I still haven't seen him score.
I got to take a leak, but so I'm going to ask you this question, Joe. We're going to do it. Predictions on the season, amount of wins.
Okay, I'm in this after watching that with no Rob. I'm going to say 60-22. The reason being is I think other than Milwaukee, Miami, and, like when they face Golden State or Phoenix in the West, they should pretty much, be able to take care of business. So I'm going to go 60-22. I know that's high. It's probably going to be more like high 50s, but how about you, Tim?
What are you going? I didn't hear that. What was that?
I'm going very optimistic with 60-22. It's probably going to end up being high 50s, though.
Timmy.
I'd probably give them 5 less wins. I think that I'm concerned about this Brogdon stamina, as I've already stated. I'll probably have them down around 55 to 56 wins.
So, yeah, I like both predictions. I think the Celtics aren't looking, Joe, to win 60 games. I think
correct.
They're looking to,
That's why I waffle a little and say it'll probably be in the 50s, because they'll be happy as long as they're, say, a 2 or 3 seed. They want to have home advantage in the first 2 rounds.
I think they like that 2 seed. It worked well last year. They'll maneuver their way through, I think, 58 wins, taking account that the Eastern Conference is very competitive. And, and they're more worried about health moving into the playoffs than they are seeding. And so 58 wins. Joe has 60. Timmy, you're going with 55?
56.
56. So, yeah, we're all around there.
Yeah, we're all pretty optimistic. Because there's 6 really good teams in the East. In Philly, Boston, Miami, Milwaukee, Cleveland, Chicago.
New Jersey, the Nets.
There's there's very good competition. And after those, like the 8 playoff teams falls off drastically, but there's a lot of competition for those 8 playoff spots.
Scotty, can I digress here for a minute?
Of course.
Can we get a prediction for the Nets win total for the year?
Oh, okay, sure. I'm going to say 47 for the Nets.
Joe?
I like them around there, but I'll just take a pessimistic view. I'll just say Kyrie blows them up somehow, some way, or Ben Simmons does, and poor KD is left holding the bag again with 42 and 40, around 500.
Okay, Timmy. I know he just wants to do this to drag.
No, I was wondering what you guys thought. I also think KD will drop a nuclear bomb at some, or Kyrie will drop a nuke on that team during the season somehow.
Hey, Ben Simmons is just as capable of dropping a bomb too. He's screwed up the Sixers.
Yeah,
why
so
not?
I got them around 50.
Timmy,
they definitely have some talent over there.
Oh yeah.
I mean, some people have them. Some people have them winning it all. Again,
No, Timmy hates Kyrie more than he hated Tuukka ever.
I dislike that man a great deal.
You could be talking about the weather and somehow he'll bring up Kyrie.
We'd all like to see, Kyrie can't suffer enough.
What he did to this organization, just in every organization he's been at, just disgusts me. And how he treats
shit.
He's so talented and he wastes it.
We got to go to the Patriots, boys. Is there a quarterback controversy?
Oh, absolutely. There's a quarterback controversy.
Well, I don't know about absolutely, but
I'm not so sure, and I'm a Zappy guy with you, Tim.
I don't
All right,
know.
go ahead.
I don't think
That's
so.
Joe,
all I
let's
heard
give
all-
Timmy's. Let's give.
all I heard all day on the radio. That's all I heard. So I mean, whether it's realistic or not, that's all I heard. So if that's all you're hearing, would you say that's a controversy?
No, absolutely, I agree. Yeah, that's what the fans. This is entertainment. If what the fans are talking about, there's no way Mac Jones he's a different level than Bailey Zappi.
Well, Bailey Zappi can beat the Chicago Bears, the Cleveland Browns, and them, but we need someone who can beat the good teams.
Yeah,
I'm not sure Bailey can beat the good teams. You can't beat the good teams handing off and throwing short passes.
no.
They'll smother you.
Brady did it for years, right?
Yeah, but he had
No, not really. Oh, not after his. They learned. They caught on. When they didn't have a great defense, he had to push it down the field. That's when they went and got Moss.
What was it the first 3 or 4 years where we rarely saw Brady throw more than a 10 or 15-yard pass?
But we had like an elite defense then, remember?
Hall of Famers. Yeah, I mean, this is a little different.
But I'm just saying, they kept the wraps on him for a long time.
Yeah, but Timmy, the game was different 20 years ago.
Yeah.
What the offense wasn't as
Well, the Patriots are the ones that first kind of started that whole
Yeah.
treat the pass like a run thing. You know what I mean? The early Brady days, they were treating a 5-yard pass just like a 5-yard run.
Oh, no question. But let's not, Bradley.
My comparison is Belichick can win with a quarterback like that. Remember Matt Castle,
Yeah.
11-5. In the 5 games they lost, they played 5 good teams, lost every one of them by 30 points.
I think a
That's a great
Belichick
point,
coach
Joe.
team can win with a quarterback that doesn't turn the ball over.
Look, he's a good backup. Like that Gardner Minshew, the last couple of years, who's come in and played well for his teams and for a couple of games, and the Teddy Bridgewaters. These guys can show some flashes, even the Brissetts of the world. Like you said, Joe, against bad teams. But if you put them against the cream of the crop, you got to put up 30 points. You're not looking for Bailey.
It's hard to, you can't match up, say, and I like Bailey Zappi, and I'm a Zappi guy, but when you're going up against Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes or Lamar, but by the way, I think we can all agree, if Bailey Zappi had started that Baltimore game and played, we would have won that game. If Mac had started.
I don't agree at all.
I'll tell you,
How poorly Mac played in that game, had like 4 turnovers.
Yeah.
And that
Mac-
awful
Wait, talk
fourth
about-
down. Oh,
Mac became a turnover machine this year.
What are you talking about? Aguilar fumbled the ball after catching it. It was a joke. Aguilar. Jones,
Belichick does not like quarterbacks that have turnovers.
I will say this: if the Patriots had played the Packers this last week, with Zappi having a game under his belt, we would beat the Packers.
Yeah, I agree.
Yes, but
but my original point still holds. You can beat the crappy teams or the average teams, but you can't beat the good teams with that kind of offense. It won't work. They'll smother you.
Is Mac going to get so paranoid about throwing interceptions so that he stops throwing the ball? And as we've seen this year, Mac has not seen a lot of open guys out in the field.
But also remember, Timmy, that the offensive line had not come together the way they are now, the way they're protecting Zappi. They did not protect Jones that way.
Well, no, I hope Mac's the greatest thing since sliced bread, Scotty. I really do. But
don't you think this will be good motivation for Mac? He's sitting there on the sidelines watching his backup win and win and win.
That's why Brady never came off the field.
Yep. He's starting to stew, and he's not going to turn the ball over when he gets back in there.
Is the leash shorter?
Yes.
Mac Jones.
Yes.
Yes.
They know they have a competent backup that can do things that should he not, toe the line, not take the coaching. Obviously, this kid Zappi's taking the coaching, just like Tom Brady did.
Yeah, we see Mac throw a couple of bad interceptions in the first half. Don't be surprised if Bailey Zappi's coming in.
Oh, I was just going to ask you that. All right, first of all, are Patriots fans going to embarrass themselves? And they can embarrass themselves, I can say it. Mac Jones throws an interception, and we're going to hear Zappy chants.
Yeah.
Oh, I think we definitely will. I mean, didn't we have someone come in for Brady and there was a controversy about, am I wrong? Was it?
No, did we want Michael Bishop?
We wanted Michael Bishop. Who was that over? Was that over?
Was it Bishop, right?
Was that Bledsoe? Was it Bishop over Bledsoe or Bishop over Brady?
Bishop was the flavor of the month once, right?
We liked Rohan Davey more than we liked Brady back in 01.
Yeah.
No, we didn't.
Who was Bishop? Who did Bishop come in for? Was it Brady or Bledsoe?
Bledsoe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. We all wanted him.
In 01, there was 4 quarterbacks: Bledsoe, Brady, Mr. Freeze, David Freeze, and Rohan.
John Freeze. Was it John Freeze?
Was it John Freeze? Yeah.
Yeah.
And Rohan Davey.
Right.
What people say, oh, he'll never carry 3 quarterbacks. He carried 4 that year because he liked Brady.
Yeah, he was lucky to put Brady in the practice squad.
Yeah.
May got picked up.
Well, if the rules were the same then as they are now, he would have been on the practice squad.
So Brady was never on the practice squad. He was on the roster, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the rules were different. The practice squad was only like 5 players then, and you had to be a rookie.
So these days,
dressing times, Timmy.
Really?
Yeah.
So these days, Brady would have been on the practice squad.
Probably.
Yeah. Right. Like, yeah. Do we have a?
But maybe his second year, he may have been. They wouldn't have 4 on the 53-man roster anymore. They would have at least 2 of them on the practice squad.
Hey, I didn't hear anything about Barmore. What's the deal with his injury?
I haven't heard anything either of it. So.
And then this kid Cody Davis looks like he's
done for the year. And
then how about Bourne?
They were talking about him being on the trading block. I don't know if that's true or not. That's some more of my reliable information.
No, I heard that please trade Aguilar. Please trade Aguilar.
Well, Bourne is much more attractive because he's only getting $3.5 million.
Yeah.
Whereas Aguilar is $12 million.
They had the Packers. I just saw speculation the Packers coming after Bourne.
They will give him. They have to take Aguilar too.
Yeah. Well, they might be trading someone because they just picked for God knows what reason they picked up a wide receiver from the Ravens practice squad.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Hey, what do we think of this new thin receiver there? What's his name?
Thornton.
What do we think of him?
Fast.
Look, this kid. The big question is, can he play NFL football as far as getting hit? But otherwise, he's clearly the fastest guy on the field, no matter what.
Blinding speed.
Oh, he on that last jet sweep, he flew past.
He was in the end zone before anyone even knew he had the ball.
That was like a scrimmage, like no touch.
Yeah, no touching, no tackle.
There are certain human beings. There are certain human beings like Lamar Jackson and Michael Vick who just have that blinding speed, just another gear than everybody else.
But hey, man, nice play in the red zone for the touchdown.
Yeah,
used his body to shield the kid. Look, did he already contributed? Would you agree he already contributed more in one game than N'Keal Harry his whole career?
No, N'Keal did make that one good catch in the left corner of the end zone to win.
Well, N'Keal will be making his season debut against the Patriots this week, right?
I don't know if he's.
I heard on the radio that he might be activated for this game.
Yeah, I don't know, but Joe, he made the catch, but remember they called it out of bounds.
What was that? Well, that's N'Keal in a nutshell, then, right there.
But we haven't had a star wide receiver. Obviously, Edelman's a slot guy, Welker's slot guy, but a star wide receiver since Moss, right?
Yeah. Myers a slot guy, our leading receiver.
Branch was a wide receiver, though.
Yeah,
right?
he was a wide out.
I mean, he was good, but he wasn't in that upper echelon.
No. So it's been a long time. I mean, and this guy does have the potential. He has this size and he has the speed, but he doesn't have the weight, the heft.
Yeah.
Well, they can
185 pounds soaking wet.
These
he's 6'3".
these nutritionists and weight trainers, they know their job.
Yeah, you're so cute to me. And the nutritionists and weight trainers, yeah,
and pharmacists
Yes. There you go.
There you go.
But we'll get all our stuff from Canada.
Put them on the Tim Hoey diet. They'll gain 30 in a day.
Yeah, you send one of the Patriots offensive linemen up to Canada and have them come back in the car.
Yeah.
Just don't get busted in Buffalo.
I know, right? Exactly.
What do he have our guard there? He had like
You love to tell
10,000
the story.
oxys on him.
How many?
10,000 oxy contents.
Oh my God. Sounds like
and never made the sports page. Never made the sports page. 3 months later, it came out in the Globe on the business page because
it sounds like he might have wanted to sell them to others.
His fellow offensive lineman. But
oh my God.
Oxys?
But that's how good Bob Kraft and Bill Belichick keep things under, the lid on things.
This was a Patriots lineman that got caught?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was
back in like 08, 09.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
remember his name?
I forget his name. If I saw it, I'd remember it.
So
but he was Canadian, Tim, and so he went home on the bye week, and on his way back, he got grabbed at the border with like 10,000 OxyContins that he gotten up in Canada.
Was it oxycodone or OxyContin?
OxyContin.
The bad stuff. I don't want a drug addicted offensive line. I know that because that's
a lot. Almost everyone in the NFL has to take that.
Those things are like eating heroin. Yeah. OxyContins.
Yeah. So that's the NFL.
I don't know if you saw the video. They show the video of the locker room after the game, and Kraft's already, he's always in there. So he goes up to Zappy. Did you see this? He says, "Great victory." He says, "I had a very big weekend," and starts talking about his wedding. Like this kid who just played the game of his life.
Hey, how about the guy handing the ball to Belichick? Was one of the most embarrassing moments I've ever seen in my life.
The most cringeworthy moment you've seen in a long time.
What do you think? What do you think? Belichick hasn't won 6 or 8 or 10 Super Bowls already.
I got a million of these, kid.
And he's handing the ball like, what was it? Like a puppy bringing the ball back? I mean,
I don't understand though. I've never seen that with any head coach, a player doing that during the game, like handing him the ball.
That's your ultimate brown noser, huh?
Did you see how excited after the play happened the kid was coming off the field? I mean, he looked like he just, hit the lottery or something. I mean, the kid was so fired up. I like him for doing it, but it was just
to Belichick, this is one play in one game, kid.
Yeah. It's not the Super Bowl, screams,
Nothing screams you're a middle child more than that moment.
It was embarrassing. What an embarrassing moment for the kid.
They said it was like a cat bringing back a bird.
Yeah.
Giving you a dead bird.
And then the special teams coach is like dragging him.
Get away.
Go talk to your coach. Go talk to
you. You are not allowed within 15 feet of him anymore for the rest of the season.
And he still didn't understand. Like what did he think Belichick was going to do with the ball?
Give him a big wet kiss and say, "Get back in there, kid, and give me some more."
I couldn't even believe what I was seeing.
Yeah,
it's one of those things. But look,
Belichick and the look of disdain Belichick gave him. It was just like, what? Get away from me! Get away from me!
But doesn't that, we talk about it all the time? Doesn't that kind of an indication of the new generation Z and how high maintenance they are and how much love you got to give them, and you
got to pat them on the head for everything.
And we talked about that last week, how Belichick is saying things like "I love Stevenson," and saying all these things that he never.
Well, I understand that because I have a crush on Stevenson myself.
But he never said he loved Tom Brady one time.
Not one time. I know you're right.
Yep.
And he loves Stevenson.
Well, maybe Belichick. As we all know in management, different people have to be handled different ways. And maybe he sees that Stevenson responds to this positive reinforcement.
We didn't have a very good game.
But also, as you get older, we've seen this with our parents and people around us. You either go, and Joe, you're seeing it with your peers, You either go one way or the other, right? You either go softer or you go harder.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of guys generally go softer.
Yeah. You realize kind of what's important in life.
Grandparents become softer.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah.
Like my father got softer. When he first smelled weed coming from the basement with my oldest brother, he went ballistic. By the time his fifth kid came along, he just shut the door.
I know you get tired. All right, boys, we got a couple more teams to talk about. Quickly, let's go predictions. Timmy.
I get the Pats 28-20.
Against the Bears. We're playing the Bears at home, Monday Night Football. Oh, it's kind of a close
game.
game.
Maybe go 34-20.
Oh, wow. You think the Patriots have...
I think the Bears are bad.
All right, Joseph.
Oh, I'll be a little more conservative with the Pats number. But I think the defense is going to score one. So 23-7 Patriots.
Wow. Yeah, I have 27-13 Patriots. I think they give Mac Jones another week off to make sure that he's healthy. Yeah. You look at 3-3, we're in the playoff hunt. You get to 4-3, all of a sudden, you're scratching at the door for a playoff spot. Just want to mention before we leave the NFL, the Jets are 4-2.
Yep.
We know that won't last, don't we?
All of a sudden, a Jets-Patriots game is going to mean something for both teams.
The Jets will implode on schedule about.
I hope you're right.
Little after halfway through the season. I'm sorry. They are the Jets, and they will always be the Jets, and that's just what happens.
I'm always worried, so I hope that you're right.
Yeah.
Hey, wait a second. Now Bailey Zappi clearly does great this next game. What happens?
He's the second coming of Bailey.
Joe, what happens? Bailey Zappi has like this awesome, clean, no turnovers, 65% passing, no interceptions,
like 350 yards,
runs for 40 yards, passes for 300. What are we seeing in 2 weeks?
Oh, that's an interesting thing. I think you'd have to ask Bill Belichick. He'll go with whoever he thinks wins the next game for him.
Well, we know you can lose your job even though you're injured, Drew Bledsoe. So we know that's possible. He's done it before, but not a chance. He'd lose Mac Jones if he did that. He might also lose the clubhouse, the locker room. This is still.
I know, but I hear that it seems that Bailey Zappi is very popular.
I know, but those other players do not like the idea that a guy gets injured.
Most veterans do not like a rookie coming onto a team in the first place
because they think about their own jobs. They're not going to like that.
If 30 of the 53 veterans, they don't like the rookie, just on general principles.
Yeah. All right, we go to the Red Sox. First of all, some really bad news coming out of baseball. The Yankees are in the ALCS. Now, this is just against Houston. I hate both teams. I have to be honest with you. I know this is sacrilege. I hate Houston so much. And I hate
No, Zach, don't say it. Don't say it.
So much.
No.
I'm not going to say
it. No, don't say it.
But
keep blasphemy like that to yourself.
All right. But I like Aaron Judge.
Don't say it, Scott.
I'm not going to say it.
Okay. You can say you like Aaron Judge in a Red Sox uniform next year.
Okay. All right. So go Houston. Go Houston. But wouldn't you agree?
What's more satisfying than seeing 8 million people weeping? 8 million New Yorkers weeping. What could make you smile more than that?
And the fire boom,
But Timmy, won't you agree that they're contemptible in Houston?
It still doesn't overcome. My neighbor's uncle used to come to town for a week every summer. And from the age of like 6 to 15, all he did was torture me about the Yankees winning championships. And I was like 9 years old, Scotty. This guy was a grown man. And all he did was belittle me and the Red Sox. So there's no amount of hatred of Houston that could overcome my hatred of the Yankees. Okay.
And Joe, this really sucks because other than New York, the city I hate the second most is Philadelphia.
And they're having a resurgence, almost like the Boston resurgence of the early part of this century.
Oh my God. Oh. So, I mean, the Padres need to win the World Series.
Yeah.
And
I don't like the Padres. Anyone who wears brown, it's stupid.
Oh, come on. I love the Padres.
Padres like neutral, you know.
Yeah.
Padres, I love that. I have a Padres hat.
Isn't it an old Red Sox guy? Well, obviously Dio's there.
Yeah, well, there you go. Right.
But isn't an old Red Sox guy still in the front office there?
Is that right?
I think we have some connection there. The guy that was the GM is, remember Theo's second in command that was here? He's in Pittsburgh now, but someone is still there in San Diego.
Wasn't it Dombrowski who liked to deal with San Diego? Did he make a lot of deals with San Diego?
Yes, he did. And
yeah,
who's the GM of Philadelphia?
Yeah,
Jed Hoyer.
Dombrowski.
Where's Jed Hoyer now?
I think he's in Pittsburgh.
Chicago, right? I think Chicago.
Chicago.
Yeah. Remember when Theo left, I think he became the GM. Maybe I'm wrong.
I was in Chicago last week.
So our job is not done right now. Obviously, we got to make sure that Yankees lose. Let's get your predictions before we go to the Bruins to finish up the show. Predictions on the ALCS, Timmy.
Houston in 7.
Joe.
Houston in 5.
I got Houston in 6.
Right down the middle.
NLCS, Joe.
Philly in 7.
Oh, Timmy.
Although I'll be rooting for the Padres, obviously.
I got to go with Phillies in 7 also.
Well, Philly won last night, right?
Yep. A guy named Kyle Schwarber that we didn't re-sign.
I never heard of him.
Hit a 500-foot home run.
Never
Oh
heard
my
of him.
God.
And
what would he have cost us?
$19 million a year. That's what he signed for.
Yeah.
That's it. Probably would have stayed for 17.
Probably. I can't even. I can't think about it.
And now that JD's gone, he wouldn't have to play first base anymore. You put Cassis at first, and he becomes your DH.
And then plays the outfield every once in a while. And
yeah,
then
45 home runs.
Yeah.
And then
that was the dumbest thing Heim said all year. Oh yeah, Homer's on everything. He's only hitting 210.
Yeah, that's where the
45 homers is 45 and 100 RBIs is what we needed this year.
Yep. Look, Heim Bloom in his analytics, he may be in his mother's basement very soon, looking at his spreadsheets without a job, because that's just bullshit.
Yeah.
Padres win in 7 because that's what I want.
And Schwarber's on base percentage was logarithmic. I mean, it was way out there. He walked so often that he was always on base. He was a great guy. I mean, he wasn't fast, but he was always on base to get driven in.
Stupid. And
he got guys like Devers to actually stop swinging at everything in the world. And even Devers started walking.
Heim had about the worst year as a Red Sox general manager that I can remember. And I like him a lot. And it pains me. I was Heim, Heim we trust, all of that. But I am
he had a very
bandwagon big time. I just cannot believe. I'm shocked how poorly he did.
He needs to make a splash this winter.
Well, I think you know what? I think he had his eye on the big picture, and he forgot about the here and now, and what's going on is the most important thing. He's thinking of 5 years from now.
So that's tell them we're spending $80 a ticket and $8 for a water and $50 to park. Tell us that.
He did not. Timmy has said this too. He did not take being 2 games away from the World Series seriously.
No.
It's pretty clear. That's not speculation. That's just not a fan show saying it. We know human beings. We know what his actions were. He did not do that.
No. He had us in the palm of his hand and he threw it away.
Yeah.
Traded away. And
the problem is with our sports fandom is that these guys, the Beltrays of the world, now the Schwarbers, they torture us. They torture us because we can't let it go. We're like, what could have been, what could have been. And that's difficult for us because that's our
What
lives.
did he see in Bobby Dahlbeck that none of us saw?
Dahlbeck looks like a ball player, doesn't he? He looks.
We all saw him.
He just can't hit.
Every one of us saw him get up against these. He kills crappy pitching. Every one of us saw him totally incapable of hitting good pitching. Incapable of doing it.
I agree, Timmy.
He's a 4A player all the way.
But would you agree that the poster child for the 2022 Boston Red Sox is Bobby Dahlbeck?
Jaron Duran.
Jaron, I'll say Jaron Duran. I'll say Jaron Duran.
The Generation Z contingency has fared very poorly this year.
I will say the poster moment for this season is Jaron Duran sitting on his hindquarters watching an inside the park grandstand.
Yeah.
That moment summed it up right there.
Turned around and his reaction was not to run after the ball.
Who was it? Verdugo that had to go fetch it?
Yeah.
Center field.
And the comment of the year, how don't you dare cheer for us when we start kicking ass here, because you were booing us for doing lousy.
It goes back to, like Scott said, you got to pat them all on the head all the time, no matter what, even when they're doing lousy. They say that's the thing with the Bruins, Cassidy would have said Swayman sucked last night. Monty says we could have helped him a little out there,
And that's what great.
We could have done a better job than get setting them up with 3-on-2s and fresh ice.
Great segue, because I did to finish up the show. It's pretty clear that Bruce Cassidy, if he had his way, would never. What he didn't talk to DeBrusque for 2 years or something.
DeBrusque is like the best player in the NHL.
Man, he's looked good, hasn't he?
He's looked awesome.
He's got some good wheels. He's got some great wheels.
I'm not even talking about the record, but now I'm feeling a little. It was probably clear that Bruce Cassidy needed.
I'll tell you, I went to the game the other night. They dominated that game. Yep. I mean, it was only the Coyotes. Don't get me wrong; they're not, winning anything. The score was not even indicative of the game. The puck was in the other end. The Bruins had it in the offensive end. The whole game. It was crazy. One of the most dominant games I've seen.
Bergeron seems to be more outspoken and more of a leader in the locker room than I've ever seen, and seems to be invigorated. Clearly it's probably his last year, and he's just going for it. He wants to win.
You know what has me encouraged here? Last year, every game you'd look, if the Bruins won, Pasternak 2, Bergeron 1, Marchand 1. The score sheet was the duplicate every game, on who got the points. This year, it's just being spread all over the place.
Yeah.
So far.
Yeah. Greer's got a whole bunch of goals.
Yeah. Well, I think this team is going to be a lot more enjoyable. Obviously, missing McAvoy and Marchand and Grzelcyk.
And that'll be a nice shot in the arm when they do come back.
Yeah, I do miss Marchand, boy. He is so much fun to watch out there.
And you'll have a lot more depth because of this time. I'm much more encouraged about the Bruins. And then we'll see what Don Sweeney does. It really is go for it now. You might as well, because after this, it's a rebuild.
Yeah, he's got to make a huge move at the trade deadline to push them over the top.
You wonder, I don't have a lot of faith in either goaltender, to tell you the truth. I mean, they're both half decent, but they're not win you a cup type goaltenders. Yeah.
Well, I think anytime your goaltender gives up 7 goals, you lose confidence in.
Well, he took himself out after 6, I think.
Yeah, but you lose your confidence a lot, and that's tough to get back. But
Swayman had remember last year, Swayman had like a month towards the end of the season where he absolutely sucked. He was giving up 7-8 goals every single game. And then come the end of the season, he gathered it together and he got back on track.
Yeah, it wasn't.
He's young and he's inconsistent,
I would say that, and you guys would probably agree that goaltending did not lose them the playoff series.
No. They went out right when they were supposed to go out last year.
Yeah, right, exactly.
They were dominated at almost every position.
Yeah. Well, hopefully not this year. All right, boys, that was a fun show. Of course, we missed the professor, but He'll be back next week. So we want to thank Adam for all his great work. Want to thank the fellas.
Thank you, Adam.
Please check us out
Thank you, Adam.
Spotify and sign up for it. Again, it's changing lives across this fine world of 7.8 billion people. My name is Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.
Get well, Adrian.
Thank you.